Hey guys, it's Martin, and today on Mornings with Martin we're talking about why we suck at being thankful. This is something I want to talk about not only in the spirit of the season, but because it's something I've been thinking about lately. And what I discovered is that the biggest culprit and issue here is something called the law of habituation. And what that means is that we get used to the status quo and the condition of our lives, and because of that, we don't really appreciate things as much. And I'm just as guilty of this, but the biggest example I can think of was when I was 16 years old. I had gotten my license finally, and my dad had saved up to get me a car, and it was so much nicer than I was expecting and that I thought I was gonna get. My mom was blown. I was like so stoked, so excited, so grateful, and I was like, I'm gonna wash this thing every night. I'm gonna take care of it. It's gonna be spotless. I'm gonna kiss it goodnight. But over time, that initial excitement and gratefulness kind of faded, and I got used to it, and I didn't really appreciate it as much. And I washed it maybe 10 to 15 times in that 3 to 4 year span, and half of that was just the rain. And then things started to break on it. Like my headlight would literally be hanging off like by the wire, and I had this window on the passenger side. I swear, it's like you had to position it. It wouldn't stay up, so you had to kind of position it just right so it would stay. And then if someone accidentally hit that like passenger window button, it would just like come crashing down. Jazzy, I'm looking at you. So in a combination of getting used to it, not really appreciating it like I had, that car eventually died. Rest in peace. And then I got a junker, and at this point I was just stoked to have a car, and I have a car that actually ran and got me from point A to point B. But this thing had torn up seats, the windows wouldn't work. I don't know what it is about windows. The air didn't work either, so in the summer you're just like sitting there like melting and like hotboxing. And in the winter the heat didn't work either, so I'd literally wear a Snuggie while driving. Guilty. And this thing was kind of a lemon, I'm not gonna lie. Like after a while the reverse gear just went out and just stopped working. So my morning routine was literally parking the car on a slant the night before, going out to my car, trying to get it started because the starter was like, it had this very special technique where you had to really jimmy it. And I'd start it eventually, put it in neutral, get out, run over, push it out of the parking spot, run over to it before it hit another car, like another parked car, jump in, put it in drive, and then be on my way. And that was literally what I would do constantly. So needless to say, it wasn't the greatest or most reliable car, and eventually that one died too. Good riddance. Deuces. See you later. And then I got a new car. Praise God. And you don't know how appreciative and grateful I was just for the simple fact that this thing could go in reverse. I was literally like, bro, I don't want to brag or anything, but check this out. I know. I was so grateful and I was so stoked, and the windows worked and the radio worked and there's a little aux thing for your iPod, and I just appreciated every little ounce of this thing. But even now, after I've had it for a while, I can feel that appreciativeness and that gratefulness that I had at the beginning kind of waning. You know, I'm not as grateful and stoked as I was when I first got it. I've gotten used to it, and I don't want that, because it's in the moments when I'm in this gratitude mode, when I'm looking at life through that lens of thankfulness, being grateful and stoked on the littlest things and the biggest things, that I feel the most connected to life, and that I feel the most alive, and I feel like I'm really being appreciative of the gift and miracle that is life. And yet we still find things to complain about. I mean, think about this, for instance. I have running water. I don't have to go to a well and walk 5 miles to have fresh and clean water. I have a hot shower. I have a bed to sleep in. I've got this computer thing. I have internet. I have food in my fridge. Obviously the most important of all those things, because let's be honest. And to celebrate that, and I'm not talking about sitting around the table with your family, whether or not you celebrate Thanksgiving and being like, I'm so thankful that I can tolerate all you crazy people for an entire evening. I'm really thankful. I'm really proud of myself. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about making your life a celebration. And so my challenge to you is, if you choose to accept it, is to celebrate the shit out of life, and to show it not only with your words, but with your actions. To shout it from the highest mountains. To celebrate like you forgot it was daylight savings and you get an extra hour of sleep. Or like you've had a long day and you come home and no one ate your leftovers. And I'm taking this challenge too, because this video isn't just a reminder to you, but to myself, to be so appreciative for the littlest things and the biggest things. So that is today's Mornings with Martin. Go out, be stoked, be grateful, and beware the law of habituation. If you like this video, share it with other people and subscribe for more videos like this. I love you. I'm grateful for you. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Peace.